Ladies and gentlemen, it's another Cosmonarchy cast, and I just couldn't stop loving the ThunderSlaps game from earlier, from yesterday. So we're going to be taking a look at another ThunderSlaps game, and of course he's going 6-pool because why wouldn't he? Our Neon Carrot Zerg in the bottom left is facing Kenoli, our Pumpkin Zerg in the top right. So pumpkin, carrot. I guess it's a very fruit and veggie type of day here on Pronogo's YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed if you like this kind of thing, watching modded Starcraft, although I like to always stipulate that Cosmonarchy really is its own game. You can certainly translate skills from Starcraft 1, even Starcraft 2, and other RTS games as well, of course, this being an RTS game, into Cosmonarchy. But it plays so differently that if you're thinking you're going to play Starcraft with extra steps or Starcraft around the corner, it's a little bit different than that. Obviously, we are using the original races, but we have our own fourth race, which is not going to be in this particular cast, but definitely check out the channel for more of that, and I do have some more coming. Yes, the 6-pool counter, a forward K-Grunt. So I don't think this is going to actually help too much, but I admit, I've never seen somebody proxy a Circuit right before somebody goes 6-pool, so I mean, I guess it's already starting up. The Circuit is coming. The Gorgrokors here are a pretty good move from ThunderSlaps to soften this up. That made such a huge difference. Holy moly. He doesn't even get the cancel off on it. And if you're not familiar with Cosmonarchy Zerg, when you lose a structure, if it's not in the middle of actively trying to mutate into something else, it will give you the past structure back, or the worker if it's just a base structure. So if you make your K-Grunt here, as you see, and then you go for the cancellation there on the morph, when the K-Grunt dies, it'll give you your worker back. So your creep colony equivalent there gives you your drone back, basically, in StarCraft 1 terms. Circuit is coming defensively this time around. That anti-surface defense will be taken care of. And ThunderSlaps, he did have to use one of his larvae for the Gorgrokors, the broodlings, right? They're free units, but they do cost a larva, so are they really free? Answer is not really in the early game. They actually make a pretty big difference. So seeing that the Circuit has been made and that a bunch of larvae was spent not on workers but on Gorgrokors, I think ThunderSlaps is actually going to be fine. He is going for that expansion behind this. So 6-pool directly into macro. It's pretty funny. We've seen 6-pools, do damage on the other side of the map, versus Protoss. If they pick one of the production structures or something, then they can kind of normalize into a macro game after that. But it's really funny that he basically, he went straight for the expansion behind it because he kind of knew, okay, this isn't going to work out. Now the Quads are out. They're going to be hunting down some of these Zeths. They only spot one off to the right-hand side. Unlikely to pick that one anytime soon. I don't think they're going to be on the lookout for that. But I'm sure, oh my god. Okay, I was going to say, there's no way all of those units go down the ramp and don't actually see that Zeth. That would be absolutely absurd. Because 2 Zeths can kill workers way faster than 1. Obviously, it sounds like an obvious statement, but it's real. It's actually a significant difference there if you were in the early stages of the game trying to do that. So a bunch of static defense coming up. ThunderSlaps is kind of notorious for this, where he'll go for a lot of static D, but here he's clearly over-egged the pudding, right? He doesn't even have money to turn them into defenses. He needs to actually just go for more harvesting at this point. Looks like he does so by moving his worker all the way to the main base. Don't ask me why. He just can't harvest from this yet. He doesn't have his defenses in place. But there's no walkout for Kenoli. And this is actually one of those situations where it might have been helpful for him to unburrow that Zeth and try to go for some counter damage. But that's where the staff defense comes in. So really, what can you do? I guess you can just be a little bit of a nuisance. And he comes in for a scout, sees what's going on. Unfortunately, his Zeth will be popped by the Circuit because of those 2 attacks. A very fast Khaz'trith here. This is a pretty... This is a very... expensive set of defenses. So the Khaz'trith is a gas-heavy structure. It provides localized detection for the Zerg in a way that, previously you would do like Spore Colony or whatever, right? But Spraith is what it's called here. The Spraith doesn't detect in Cosmonarchy. You have to build dedicated detection structures. This one does have more utility than just that, though. This yellow overlay indicates that any empowered unit or structure is going to have extra attacks to dole out to targets near their primary target. So if you attacked this Quaz, you would attack these 2 on the right-hand side and left-hand side. Basically, you get 2 extra attacks for flankers, people at their flanks. So pretty good there. They do have to be kind of near the main target, but typically that's always the case. That you make a lot of units in Cosmonarchy. There's no supply limit. There's less depletion in the minerals. In the same way your minerals deplete into the gas doesn't deplete. Your minerals do deplete, but they don't expire. They just become less efficient. So a lot of reasons why you might want to go ahead and make a big army. And then, yeah, just makes sense. A shroud right in front of the Circuit. It feels a little ballsy because you're basically saying, I'm going to put this, this tech right here and don't attack it. 10 Sunder is in the center of the map, 10 center, and it can fit 10 Zeths, so 10. Now you know why it's called that? No, it's not really. It's a chariot, a mythological chariot from Roman times. Chariot of the Gods. Very, very thematic name, Of course, I made it, so I came up with it. There you go. I mean, the Romans came up with it. I just reused it. I decided to reuse it. I did do that. That's my decision. And if you're wondering who the fuck named it Hatcherosk, well, anyway, the Quads are now moving across the map, and they are going to be... it doesn't look like they're actually going to be spotted. The 10 Center has way more vision range than your Zeths do, but he didn't actually send his units up in there, so he's adding even more static defense now, which feels a little overkill. Again, I feel like he's not in any danger here. But, I mean, I suppose he doesn't really want to have to make any units, right? He's been mostly making... He did make another round of Zeths or whatever for moving around, but he's mostly just been chilling and powering up on workers. They actually have the same worker count, which is really funny to me. Zeths aren't going to get too much done. Straight into Circuit, we do have some Quads. I think you take one look at this situation and you go, oh, I can't attack that right now. Kenoli is going for the Calculator Lake, which is the end stage upgrade for the pool. Right now we just have the pond for ThunderSlaps. He's not actually going for the, too much of an upgrade there. And 4 pairs of Naths being made for Kenoli, only 1 pair for Thunder. I think we can tell he's mostly just doing it for like anti-drop, maybe some scouting, whereas Kenoli is going into more of the Nathrkor's flying Zerg units that some people would look at and say they're flying Zerglings, and they kind of, fit the bill. They're really, really good anti-air, not very good anti-ground, but they can technically attack with their tail. Really nice graphic that Solstice made for us. So shout out to Solstice, responsible for the Quasilisk as well. Very good to have. I was joking earlier that he made the Mason, he made the Scribe. Those are the Terran and Protoss workers, SCV and Probe. But, he just needs to make a Droleth, and then we'll be good to go, right? Now, with the Nath being turned into the Calculus, this is basically what I was hinting at what Kenoli might be doing here. He's definitely pivoting into more ranged air units, which is what this Calculus evolution from the Nathrkor is. So now we have 10 Quas in that Kenoli 10 Sender in the middle of the map. He's kind of moving around looking for whatever he can find. Quas actually don't win head-to-head without micros, so you could see that demonstrated by that move there. So nice play from Kenoli to do a little bit of micro. Now, a bunch of Nathrkors are actually moving off to the side, and they're canvassing this area so that maybe ThunderSlaps can take a cheeky base. He's actually going to be able to clear that one Quas, surely. No? No, he's not. Okay, all right, never mind. He's just hoping that Kenoli didn't see it, I guess. And we got a bunch of Lyrilisks being made. The Calculisks are flying across to the top left. So the Droleth does successfully get killed by the Quas. But now the Knights are going to descend, and maybe they'll be able to pick these Larvosks, right? He's going after some workers initially. Oh, but the Quas hatch right there, right on the spot. Kenoli, a lackluster response so far to this attack. And now he burrows. Oh, then he unburrows, and it looks like he's just going to call the bluff. One's at the middle of the map getting cleared. We got, it doesn't look like anything, an advance warning for this air attack here. And only 1 Nathrkor going down, so that's not too bad. The Lyrilisks have a light splash damage attack, so there's that. A single Spraith has been made inside the main base. We got Quas on standby for the natural. We're going to need a little bit more than 1 Spraith, though. It does have pretty good range and damage, but you are talking about 8 Calculisks, so you can ignore some of that in the early stages of the game, I think. In fact, you might even be able to just right-click the Spraith. It's only 1 of them, so it feels like it would be doable. The Nath's on Vigil at 12 o'clock here for ThunderSlaps. He's expanded to a mineral only at 6 and clearly wants to leapfrog into the bottom right part of the map. Making his Zorius. He's got his Ulgorg Cavern already, so he can go Ultra Core. Meanwhile, Kenoli not really developing in the tech department, or really in the economic department either. He's starting his own Spraith. Just keeping him interested here with those Naths. The Calculisks are now going to swan dive into the main base here. And are they going to be, turned away by the Spraith? Clearly the answer is no. One of them is going to go down immediately, but a lot of workers are already dead, and Kenoli has a huge advantage pretty much instantaneously. The double gas base on the low ground being taken by ThunderSlaps. He's going to defend that hatch, but he's lost so many workers. He's down 20 overall, which isn't how many he lost, but still, that's a good number. And as I mentioned, the Spraith kind of goes down quick. Does end up claiming 2 Calculisks, but there's still 5 to deal with. And I get really road cores are being made for some reason of the eggs. I don't really know why. But we do have a lot more units being made right now. Kenoli actually completely idle in production. He's got 2,000 minerals, the classic move, and he could just get run over, bowled over by this ThunderSlaps ground attack. It's not a bad reaction to being attacked by air units. You know that there was a decent amount of investment into those calcs. And you know that mostly the enemy has the Lyrilisc, but what else do they have, right? There's Ultracore here available for ThunderSlaps. The Zoryus, when they hit a target, they are able to speed the rest of the Zerg army up into fighting against that target. So here we go, the Ultracore. Is it ever going to get focused down? And is that focus going to be well enough for this defense? We have a run-in to the main base, sticking on to that circuit. So this force here is just to buy time. Ultracore does end up, second one, coming to the front line and starting to sabotage Kenoli's efforts, and more units trying to run in through the map. But look at the Zets hatching to try to hand this off. Kenoli actually has defended pretty well, all in all. There is a single Zoryus here for ThunderSlaps, and everything else is just quads. That's not going to work out the way that he wanted to. So it looks like that will be mostly saved. An Ultracore and a bunch of other units pivoting over to the middle of the map. We have a bunch of Nathracores as well. The Calculator Lake has been made for ThunderSlaps. He can make himself some calcs, but he is a bit low on money. Remember, his workers are fewer in number for sure. His economics are not as good. We do have some additional defenses coming up. And of course, Kenoli went for tier 2 at some point. Where did he even put it? Okay, it's right there in the natural mineral line there. So I was down here, so I didn't see it. The Spraiths, the circuits, upgrading to their second level is going to be a pretty significant deal. So you saw how fast the Spraith was attacking inside the main base of ThunderSlaps, but now imagine each attack bounces like a Mutalisk. That's basically what the Spear Tith is. And the Scortrith, you talked about that Khazitrith passive earlier where it was giving extra targets to the attackers, extra attacks, I guess, to the attackers, targeting new units. Yeah, that's exactly what happens to the Scortrith natively. So they can actually double benefit it from a Khazitrith, basically. We do have a pretty big engagement here with the Quaz count, and the Ultracores are being focused down. Eventually they will falter, and it does feel like that'll be enough for a rout of ThunderSlaps' army. He's got his Nats up here in the top right, but they're not really getting much done, and there's really just not that many of them, period, right? So that's going to get basically all of the military units taken out. We do have some Gorgs, some Zoryus coming. The Flying Ultralisks are back and in some style, but it's going to be a while before they hatch, and I feel like Kenoli definitely playing with more pace. You look at his mechanics, you look at the fact that he floats all this money, you look at the fact that he doesn't really bother making units when he probably ought to, and you wonder to yourself, how does this guy win games? Well, unfortunately, both of those Gorgs getting killed in the crib, I guess all three of them, that really bites, because ThunderSlaps was relying on that splash damage against ground army. And, you know, Calculisks are pretty fragile units. Actually, I think a number of Gorgs could clear them. Looks like this expansion for Kenoli is being attacked by the one Nat that's still up there in the top left. And, well, that's two bases taken out immediately. And he never reset mining at the natural, despite having 33 workers down here in the natural. He's never reset mining in the main, rather. So that's pretty dire and all of a sudden for ThunderSlaps. You know, Kenoli is an Acropolis regular. He didn't make it to the Throne Room stage for Acropolis 4, but he always makes the Battlement stage. Since Acropolis 2, he's always made it there. And sometimes his ZVZ can really get him over. He defeated the menace that is Jarl Storm in Acropolis 2. And then in Acropolis 3, he was able to get one over on Sausage using expansion first, hatch first antics, so that was pretty nifty. But obviously, he was defeated by the Escozi. You know, the fourth race really got one over on him. And I don't know. I mean, we're still seeing... I think this could be like a Battlements match or a qualification match into the Battlements or something for Acropolis 5. Which, by the way, guys, if you're trying to get in shape or you want to, you know, get some practice in, see if you can qualify to that tournament for the top 18 players of Cos Monarchy at that time, you know, the top 18 active players, definitely see about signing up for the qualifiers when they begin. The first one will be in September, but it's invite only based on your rank. You still have time to qualify based on that, however, if you play a lot of games in the meantime and, you know, show up in some of our bi-weekly tournaments, Weekend Wage. First one's going to be on the 8th of August. And I guess, I'm trying to think about the time frame here, but I believe, yeah, this video should go live right before we have the wonderful 2v2 tournament being hosted by George. So if you made it to 14 and a half minutes into this video, you now know, or are reminded, that George is running a 2 versus 2 tournament. If you want to play Cos Monarchy 2v2, definitely sign up to that. Information in our Discord and Fluxer servers, the Tournaments channel. Good place to go. Kenoli, meanwhile, has amassed a pretty staggering number of Protathalors. These guys are essentially long-range artillery units for the Zerg, and they will single-target down things like Ultracores, Zoryus, and Gorgrokors. They shoot up, so definitely keep that in mind. I remember when I first made the decision to have them shoot up, people were saying that maybe they're OP now, and since then nothing really changed about them, but they haven't been declared OP. It's getting to a point where maybe we'll be able to see tier 2 a little bit more frequently in Zerg matches, so it might not be something that gets ignored for much longer, but I do think it could be really nifty to see a little bit more from the Protathalor, see a bit more from the Spire in general. I know people do like to make this structure a lot in tier 2. So a single Quaz checking the front gates. We got a pack of Gorgs being banked off to the side. In theory, if the Protathalors get jumped right on top of and the Gorgrokors are attacking them while the rest of the ground army is, I could see a world where they're able to do something. Now, this is a nice move from ThunderSlaps. I don't really know how he's been allowed, basically, to escape his main base, right? This containment force over here for Kenoli could definitely be far closer to the front line. And if this snipe on the hatch just never would have happened. He evacuates the workers pretty quickly, and he does have that double gas base, so this isn't as big of a insult as maybe it ought to have been. But, this is still pretty dire for... I guess dire is the wrong word. It's just Kenoli probably shouldn't be letting that kind of thing go. But he's not playing hardcore sweaty, right? And ThunderSlaps, he's sweating right now. He's trying to make sure he stays in the game as best he can. Very limited in the gas department. He's mining with a gas cap on the ridges. Oh, goodness. People are going to say bless me in the comments. Thank you. But 11 Protathalors, Kenoli's just kind of spamming them out. He's just... he's having a good time in this game, dude. We're going to have one more big fight. ThunderSlaps is going to get crushed. And Kenoli's just going to be like, all right, I guess that's the game. Khazitra done a bunch of circuits here at the double gas base, making sure Zets can't run by him. And, his units are all over the map. He's got pretty good map vision, map control. So I hope, we didn't see ThunderSlaps for Acropolis 4. I do hope that he participates in the qualifiers and manages to make it in. I see no reason why he couldn't, in theory, unless we get a large influx of better players. Maybe not large, maybe like 4. He could be displaced. He's probably on the bottom end as of right now. So I hope to see that change over time. Oh, hold on, Kenoli, have you been a little bit too fanciful as 13 Gorgs immediately ransacking that Protathalor stack? Did any of them make it out? It feels like the answer to that is no. All of a sudden, he's going to be under attack. Oh my god, though, the Khazitra! Oh, he was playing right into his hand. GG, ThunderSlaps, you made an error. And Kenoli has been... well, I wanted to say he's been... proven victorious, but I really feel like ThunderSlaps picked the one base you could not attack. All right, listen, ThunderSlaps games are pretty entertaining, particularly the fact that I was giving him that little spiel at the beginning where I was like, that Shambler match was really entertaining, man. And I'm glad that we got to see him 6-pool immediately. And 6-pool macro is really weird, like in the way that actually took shape. I thought that was funny. But Kenoli just has a better grasp on the matchup so far. We'll see if ThunderSlaps can uproot him later. Of course, these players play a lot of games, and I cast one for a video. So don't get it twisted. I'm sure that there were plenty of games where ThunderSlaps was able to get one over on his opponents. But it's just entertainment. It's just entertainment, guys. That's it. GG. We'll be back tomorrow for more Cosmonarchy. Sub if you're not already. Streamlabs.com/pronogo to support. GG.